Hi, how's it going? It's it's August 5th, Saturday, 7:26 a.m. I didn't go to sleep last night. It got to be like 5 something and I got like tired, so I went to the store and got a C4 energy drink and I'm back to business now. So yesterday, I can't remember exactly what I was saying. Um, the electrician came on Friday, and it turned out I just didn't flip my switch back right. They got like burnt out, and I thought I switched it forward and backward, but apparently I didn't. So there's nothing wrong. He just switched them. So now I can try and go get a roommate. I think I'm gonna have to go do another ad. So do that as soon as I can. But this weekend, I want to do the weekend because it's Saturday, and I want to do Saturday and Sunday to see how ahead I can get. Because I was making pretty good progress, but and then I came across a one that's gonna take time and a couple days, and I just wanted to get through it. So what happened was, see, my problem is I'm always like working on things in my site and then being like looking at it and being like, what's wrong? How come I don't have the Google Earth up? And I forget why, and I'm like, let's put the Google Earth up, and I go, oh, that's why. It's because I'm not done. And so then I'm like, ooh, let's try to finish. So, yeah, for the last few days, I was trying to finish flat irons, which isn't even in the page that I was trying to do. It's its own thing. But yeah, I finished that, and then, yeah, I was gonna move on, and I saw all these different houses called flat irons. Yeah, how the houses, some like 110 of them or whatever in total, but they're all broken up into different categories of like 20 and 25, and I want to integrate everything on my site. That is the kind of the MO of the site, to connect everything, to condense information and connect everything, because that's part of condensing, and conceptually too. And it's kind of like to try to promote a new way of thinking, just data oriented, so that people are more used to thinking and communicating that way. And so, because it'll alleviate all the stupidity problems in the world. So, kind of losing my train of thought because I've been up so long. So, I yeah. So yesterday, yeah. So I decided to include, because it's Boulder. It's these houses on the Flatirons. I decided to put people who live in the houses, because this is like make believe, pretend, fantasy world for my TV show. You can create stories and from the area, from the land that actually does exist, and like a fantasy world where there's houses up on the Flatirons, and so the people up there, yeah, they're all numbered from top to bottom. Like if it was more the prestigious level. And so, yeah, first to last of those different races that I have on my website for the bike racer level pages. Haystack time trial from Lyons to Boulder, the sprint triathlon, and and then there was one I'm gonna have them each one have one. There's a lot, but then there's one that's really big. That is called Hidden Valley, and It is a calibrator for population. I want to clarify what they mean by population in history books. Whenever Rome did a census, they included the city and the area around the city. And so you have to know the countryside to city ratio if you're going to know what the city is itself, which you do know. And I did write it down somewhere. There was a formula they had. But, and I think whenever they, any author like Thucydides from the Peloponnesian War starts telling you the population of cities, like, I think Thucydides said the population of Mantinaea, for the first battle of Mantinaea, which was the biggest land battle of the Peloponnesian War, northern Peloponnesus in like 300 and like 2080 or something BC. I think the Spartans won, but it was like everybody against everybody, and Thucydides really described it well, like with the flute players and the drummers in the front and how they did the fluting and everything. But anyway, I think he said that the city was 10,000 fighting. No. Yeah, 10,000 people, 10,000 population, which meant that they could have a fighting force of 2,000. No. Yeah. And it had a, I should look it up now. Let's look it up, just see how good I am off the top of my head. Because, yeah, I think it was like maybe 10,000 against 10,000. And the Mantinaeans offered up 2,000 for their town because they had 10,000. And it had a, because it's the most well-preserved wall. And it's like a perfect oval, and you can even see the middle of it, the capital in the exact middle. It's pretty. It would have been amazing. Somebody needs to recreate it. I did a little bit and was thinking about it, but has a circumference of 3.97 kilometers, so like 4 kilometers, which is conveniently the same distance as one of the bike races, so that's cool. I can incorporate that, but that's actually also kind of like a very standard circumference of ancient city. It's kind of like equivalent to modern day size of like Denver, like a 20-kilometer across city. And I mean, there were a couple of cities bigger than that in those days, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, but most cities were that size, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, so you can get the size, and so I wanted to figure out, based on what Thucydides says, and I think I may have it linked in here. I made, on the other side of Green Mountain, a city that was 3.97 kilometers of ground. I made a lot of cities that way to match Mantinaea. And then I put exactly 2,000 houses in there for 10,000 people. Just to see what it looked like, and it's way too crowded. And so that would have been with the countryside, and I wanted to do that just to show how that works. Just to calibrate and demonstrate the decision-making process of estimating the populations of cities based on the books, accurately, and just to make sure that we're all in agreement, because there's a lot of stuff about history we haven't realized yet. I keep saying that I discovered Atlantis, but I discovered 2 other things about history that nobody else talks about, that are like a couple problems with Wikipedia. For example, There's the boats of Nemi, which were the boats of Caligula that he made for party boats back in like 40 AD, and the lake of Nemi, and beautiful lake surrounded by volcanoes, magical area, and they found them back in like 1920 or something, or they always knew they were. They could see them, and Mussolini drained the lake so that they could turn it into a museum. And I don't think they drained the whole lake, but they drained enough of the lake to be able to create a museum around where the boats were. And then in World War I, somehow, nobody knows really how, just in the bombing, there was a fire and they burnt all the way down. They burnt to the ground. So if they'd have just let them hang out in that lake until after World War II, but whatever. At least they took photos of them. And there are these giant barges, these big, like, oval-shaped barges that, with these, like, each with these, like, one huge row on the other side, totally impractical. And, damn, you think freaking things are loud? But people keep saying that those are the boats that Pliny talked about. Because Pliny was talking about a giant boat that he did up and down the coast. And I'm like, and everybody keeps mentioning that. And it's like, no, dude, those are different boats. They never mentioned the boats of Nemi one time anywhere. People keep thinking it's the ones that he mentioned. Had nothing to do with Pliny. Those things were found. They were from Caligula, but it was just one of those other crazy things, which actually goes to say that, you know, when you listen to people say crazy things about leaders in the past, and they're like, are they exaggerating? Well, there's an example of something that we actually do know is crazy. It's a crazy-ass story that they never even talked about. So it was even crazier in real life, you know, even more extravagant. Because Pliny was talking about a boat that went up and down the coast all the way down to Naples, and I think he said it had 7 rows of oars, like more than any other trireme ever. And so, like, I want to recreate that on Google Earth. I wanted to do it, just see if it's possible. That's an interesting challenge, because I'm pretty good at the polygon tool, making 3D things. You should check out my Coliseum. I built that from the polygon tool, but I think it's a great tool to build big things on Google Earth, because it doesn't take up much space, and you can open it on your cell phone. But yeah, that's the boat that went up and down to Naples. So that's a whole nother boat. So people don't make the distinction. That's one historical problem, or 2 of them actually, because those 2 boats. And then there's another one that's really interesting. I even mentioned on a channel, and they didn't understand, but Pliny, no, Herodotus was talking about, I think he lived at the same time as Plato, around the same time. So, yeah, and like Plato's like great-grandmother, 6 generations, great-great-grandfather, so on. They're talking about Atlantis. But when they're talking about Atlantis, and they were even saying how long ago it was, 10,000 years ago, they were also talking about Egypt and Athens. Atlantis wasn't the only civilization in those days. They were actually having a war. And, you know, one interesting thing Pliny said about Atlantis, or Egypt, was that Egypt had the same exact music and customs and culture and everything for 10,000 years. So he actually said when their culture started. It was 10,000 years ago. And that interesting that it was the same. So there was some common, constant, you know, cultural beginning. And he also said that it was 333 generations of 33 years each. I think that's how many, which is 10,000 years, of the priests of Scythe, father to son. which is, so that's two sayings that it was 10,000 years ago. But anyway, and he said the calamity has happened at this time. But he said that back in those days, Athens was was the big capital, one of the capitals of the world, the big capital of that part of the world, of the Greeks. And the Acropolis of Athens was as big as from one river to the other river. And I looked at the rivers. And it's this huge plateau of like 4 kilometers around. So Athens, the city of Athens itself, in those days, used to be the Acropolis. The Acropolis was the actual city. But the Acropolis was the only thing that remained of Athens because of all of the rain that when it came and washed it from the comets that destroyed the earth and Atlantis, it came and washed away everything and only left the rock. And so that's interesting. Because I think I even built it on Google Earth. I built up a stone around the same exact size. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I have it for download yet. It's one of those things I have to do. But so that's an interesting thing. Another interesting historical thing people want to talk about. I mentioned it on some historical website, and he didn't even understand. I mean, YouTube, he didn't understand what the hell I was saying. I did that twice, and he didn't understand. I can't remember his name as one of these mainstream guys. But anyway, so I'm doing all of these. Oh no! Oh, there it is. I'm doing all of these Google Earth, adding the winners of these races, and so there's the 2014. There's a lot of social media stuff I need to put online. Boulder Ironman Triathlon, and it was the very first one, full distance one ever in Boulder. And they had it for like 5 years in a row. And then it stopped doing it, and I don't think it came back since then. And but the first time they had it, they had 2,214 people do it. And finish it, and or do the bike part. And I even filmed it. And I think I have it somewhere. I need to find the video. I never uploaded it to YouTube. I need to upload it. I filmed him swimming and everything, even the riding, and pretty cool. And, I put in the list of it on my website, because it's part of my whole calibration, my levels for all the different distances. And so I decided to attach it to this hidden valley where there's the 10,000 people, the 2,000 households. Because it's the households all crunched up together. Because every once in a while, that's why they would have walls. Whenever an enemy would come, all the people in the countryside would go inside the wall of the city. And so then it would look like that. They would all set up their tents inside the wall of the city and crunch together. And so that's actually what it really would look like in those times. And so just give you an idea. So I should do, I don't know. Maybe I could build them all on the outside, like a kingdom at one point. I don't know. Actually, I could do it on the kingdom next to it, because I do have a kingdom next to that. That's the size of Rome at the beginning. But so I'm attaching each person to a house for 2,000, and they're all color coded. 1 to 10 color on the inside, and then on the outside, male blue, female red. So when you're far away, you can see male versus female, but then when you're really close, you can see the 1 through 10. And it goes from the top of the mountain down to the bottom. And so 2,000 people, because I think I already did, basically the other ones. So this is the last one. Yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and do it now. Even though it's not necessary to do this to connect it to my website. Figured I'd finish it now, because I wanted to just go ahead and just wrap this up. And it's a good brain candy thing. And so 2,000. I'm on number like 250 or something now, so 350. So I mean, all of today and all tomorrow. Hopefully I can finish by tomorrow, and then get going on uploading it up to YouTube. I mean, to my website. I couldn't do the other ones because it didn't add the other information, because I needed to. It wasn't done on the Google Earth. I needed to add the name, because after I named the Flatirons, I was able to look at the Flatirons and just name the house after the Flatirons, because I wanted to have all the houses have a name, all like 120 of them, 110 of them. And then I wanted to attach a person. So it's the name of the house, business, the flatter next to it, and then the person. So it's awesome. Now I have all the information. Then I can add that all when I, to the, copy and paste all of it, because it's all in the title, onto my site. So, yeah, like on Monday or whatever. But yeah, I guess on Monday I'll have to try to get another roommate, or get the ad up on the internet for roommate. But I'm paying down my 30% credit card. There's no interest on it until a year and a half after I got it, which was a few months ago, 6 months ago, so like another year. So I have to have that completely paid off by the time their interest kicks in, because they charge you even more. It's ridiculous. That's when I can start focusing back on the other credit cards that I have. So I don't even care about credit cards or anything, as long as I'm paying off. And so, I mean, if I can stay afloat, like if I didn't have these credit cards, debt, all this credit card debt, I might be happier just to not have a roommate if I could get away with it, I think I could get away with it, and just, because dude, to get in the groove. I haven't gotten in the groove yet of listening to chapters, but I want to do that pretty soon. I only just yesterday, started bringing my other computer here. I don't know if you can hear it, which is right here. Just to have two computers here, I can look at cool stuff over there or whatever while I'm working on this computer. It's loud as hell until it dies. And oh. So, I noticed yesterday that YouTube disabled comments on my video for the first time in a way that I like. No, for the second time. So now I'm freaked out, because a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, they disabled one on a video that had a comment on it. It was Paula, my ex-wife, and I looked at it, and there's it says disabled, and I knew it was the same video because it was the one from just the day before, and I was like, okay, whatever. I actually opened it up to the editing to see if I could what's the deal? Can I click activate comment? Or did it get accidentally clicked as for children? And no, I don't know what's going on. So whatever. And then the one after that, you could do comments. I mean, it's not like somebody was, but you could. And then the one from yesterday, just automatically, no comments. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe did they permanently just switch my channel to no comments? Because I looked on the settings and it said, yeah, not made for kids. And so there was some instructions. I could look all through the instructions. I'll do that whenever I get around to it. But it looks like, yeah, they just decided to freaking disable my comments. So from now on, I'm just going to include it in the title. Just stuff having to do with that. Activate my comments, YouTube, If they're going to do that, then I'm going to say something about it, because that's violation of First Amendment. That's when the laws need to step in and take ownership for the people of these companies. Now's the time. If you're gonna do that with me, then I can. There's all kinds of stuff I can do too. I could find out who it was. I could drop your name. I could do all kinds of stuff. So it's better. It's much smarter for YouTube to just allow people to have their comments. Because I'm not going to be the only one having a problem with this. It's pretty common sense that people have to communicate, and if you're going to be disabling comments just like that without even explaining, you don't belong in that position. Something's wrong with society. We got a bunch of retards who aren't YouTubers in control of YouTube, and so we need to take the power back. So anyway, I'm gonna be mentioning that every day as long as there's comments. So maybe they're fucking with me. Maybe they're doing it on purpose. Because I remember for 6 months, a couple years ago, I was deliberately setting my videos for kids. so that you couldn't do comments, so that I could say turn my comments back on. And I was like, all right, I'm ready for comments. So I clicked comments. I clicked, okay, not ready for kids. So you can do comments. And now it's not made for kids, and I still can't do comments. So now it's time for us to have like what? We're gonna play rough with each other. I can just mention stuff in the titles and talk about it all day long. What are you gonna do? Delete my channel? No, you can't do that. Oh, and I can do screen captures also. Oh, and I can make my I can email every single day and complain every day with a little email, a little feedback, and talk about it. And I can do all the screen captures to document what I'm doing. And then sue. I can sue YouTube. And I could sue them. Maybe I could sue them just into bankruptcy. Or no, you sue them until they change their mind. You just set up a fund for it. Yeah. But that's like the 50th thing on my plate. But as long as I can still make videos, that's all right. In fact, I personally, it's better that I can't do the comments, because I need it. I love being in the mode where there's just 100% of my time can be on my website. It's freaking awesome, because this stuff is freaking time consuming. I mean, if I'm gonna name and color code 2,000 people, and that's just one of the many things on my site, I better get that bitch done in 1 or 2 days. Because that's only a 1 gazillionth on my site, you know what I mean? I can't get hung up on this stuff. So I need to keep it moving. So luckily I have my weed. It was a lot more expensive this time, but it was strong. 33% THC sativa. So I can't remember what it's called. Golden Goat or something. Anyways, that's enough talking. Almost a half hour. Wow, I talked so long for this, but I think I was saying something. And I think there's even some other stuff I didn't say, so I'll include them tomorrow. Anyways, I'm going to get going again. This is fun, just smoking weed, listen to music, or even not even listening to music, just silence. But hopefully, yeah, pretty soon. This isn't really brain candy, though, because, first of all, it was a little bit arbitrary on how I was going to choose as you go down, because it was going up on 2 peaks, so I had to go kind of share between the two. And now it's coming down. But I have to make sure that all the speed segments in a quarter mile an hour are all clumped together. And I hope I was doing that when I was making the flat irons for when I organized it in different folders, because I'm going to color code it for the different levels of every quarter mile. From the fastest dude who was 27 miles an hour all the way to the slowest, which is 11 miles an hour in segments. So that's 100 or whatever. So you would make, so you always, I have to keep an eye on it. So you make a little area, a clump. You can do a circle around it, and that's that level in the clump here. So you're not dancing around and having to make some odd shaped, just to connect them, you know what I mean? So in order to focus on that and focus on how you're going to do the numbers down to make it all make sense as it downs, that takes concentration. So there ain't no, listening to an audiobook, because I'm working on this. So yeah, anyway, I'm hoping that I'll probably get, this is fun. This will be fun to predict. 2,000 is a lot. So yeah, fuck. I mean, if I'm optimistic, maybe on Saturday by tonight, if I work all day until 5 in the morning, I can do 1,000, and then by Sunday, by Monday morning, by 6 o'clock Monday morning, I'll be done. And then the Ironman was 2,214, so it was everything but 2,214. I was thinking about, is there somewhere else you can fill in the other 214? But no, I'll just do a little calculation. This is 90% of it or something. So that's cool. It equaled up. I love it when stuff equals up, So, So yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons to do that. You can imagine when it's individual people. You can imagine in the groups of the strengths of the people, maybe in the past how strong they'd be in the group. In the city, you're looking at it as a city of people. Well, it's also a city of people on the bike race, or the triathlon, which was, they're both like cities. Each person maybe has 5 people around them. So you could think of it as them and then their people. That would be this big, and just lots of different ways to compare it and contrast and explain it artistically. Ooh, let's keep this under half hour. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.